Happy New Year's Eve 2024. Goodbye 2025. Here we come. And boy, how far we've come. 105 episodes deep. And I got Chopper, I got Flicky, and all of you. Thank you. I have some housekeeping to get to, but Flick Money, share with the listener what you were doing yesterday.
Well, I'm a late addition, coach. 2024 was a big year for me getting added to the roster here, but I just wanted to study up on my history. I went back yesterday, popped in episode one on YouTube, just wanted to make sure I'm staying true to the brand, and I wanted to see where this all started. And I learned some things, especially about Chopper, but also I learned that how uncomfortable a viewer can be with the physical closeness when two grown men are having a conversation from 8 inches of with faces 8 inches away. It was over a couple of iced coffees. I'll tell you, it was magical. I learned so much, and I feel ready to propel into 2025 just based on that discomfort.
Well, man, Chopper, take us back to episode one, years ago, where I believe you said, "Hey, I'm in town. Let's just go to your house, set up a tripod and a camera, and do the first episode in person." And I'm 5'10", 165, solid, and I'm
Solid.
sitting, I'm sitting beside, 6'8", 240, a
Yep.
lot of beard, a lot of muscle, and you got to get in frame. And I'm gonna be honest, Chopper, you took up three-quarters of the frame,
I
and
took up
I'm
a
in
lot of the
there.
frame. Yeah.
I'm doing my best yoga moves to try and keep my whole body in frame and allow you, kind of like, we're sitting coach in the American airline row 34 B and C, and we've got to stay right there in frame. And let's be honest, we didn't really know each other at all. We barely met. What do you got, Chopper?
I just remember that the whiskers, I feel like they were touching,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I guess I felt at home right away. I felt like you did too. I don't want to speak for you. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it felt like home. It felt safe. And I feel like we kind of knew what we were getting into. We knew that we were like-minded individuals, super handsome, extremely humble. And yeah, I mean, it started there and it's continuing now. And you add Flick Money, and that's like putting, gasoline on a fire. So, yeah.
What
Well,
started
what
as like a trip up a mountain to go on a camping trip with two gentlemen who barely know each other, but you only have a one-man tent. And you're gonna spend the night in that one-man tent. It's gonna get weird, but hey, you gotta let it roll and you gotta see what happens sometimes. And now adding Flick Money to the mix, it's like three guys, one man tent, and there's a microphone, and I'm really happy with everything that's come down the pike here. I mean, it's been 3 years, for crying out loud. Flick Money, what an addition you've made, just to um, bring more beard, but also a different perspective, which I think has been great here. So, listeners, thanks for giving us a couple minutes to go down memory lane. Flick Money, you had something to say as well.
Well, no, I just wanted to shout out for all the listeners that if any of the material or if you found any of these conversations challenging in any way, shape, or form, that's actually the lightning bolt that this show started on. Just a lot of challenging energy, right? Just whiskers up in your face, the one tent, now three dude energy. So let's keep it rolling. I say we ride that lightning bolt right into 2025.
Yeah, we asked the listeners a year ago, "Hey, what do you want? You want more interviews?" And they wanted the challenge. They wanted the issues, the tough times, and we're coming up on a new baseball and softball season in the hot weather regions. You've got tryouts coming up in a few weeks to get ready for the season. So we're going to be here weekly to fill up your tool pouches. And it all starts with you, Patreons. Thank you. For years, you've been loyally giving, and I just paid out Tommy Gold, Chopper, and Flick Money. If you want to support and allow us to keep on going with this thing, we don't do it for the money, but our wives would love it if we did. So, hey, come on down if you wish, but no, honestly, don't if it doesn't feel right, don't give. But you patrons who do, um, man, I Black salute and Tom Selleck salute. You guys you're private investigators and you're rolling around in your Ferraris and choppers. No pun intended. Thank you, Warstick. If you want a discount code for any of their awesome stuff, Attaboy15 Battle. Watching on the YouTube, Flick Money's got the battle. Thank you, Thromo. If you want a discount code for that, it's a great little pitching pad. You also use it for hitting, but it gets the kids aligned. Discount code Attaboy. Pretty easy there too. Um, I like to keep it simple. I don't go too deep with the technical. Simple is better, especially with kids. And Warstick and Thromo, they got it. So thank you guys. And thank you, Coach Ballgame University. We have a new launch for all of you coaches that are about to embark on a new season. We're going to drop another edition of the playbook, February 18 and 19, right here on your laptop. You can sign up for the wait list on my website, coachballgame.com, or on the link tree in my Instagram, Facebook, even my MySpace bios. So that's all sports, all ages, and that's the playbook. That's the psychology of it all. And the three of us, we're here to answer all your questions. And Coach Queso has dialed in the best curriculum one could buy. So get on that wait list. I've also dedicated hours in the backyard to a spotlight course called Skills 101. And that will launch March 5th. And that is 132 bite-sized videos on how to teach kids 8 and under how to play the game of baseball or softball, catch, throw, pitch, field, hit, run the bases, even some videos on how to run great stations at your practices. So, Coach Ballgame University, tap in. And then, boys, I want to hear from you on private Zoom sessions for any coaches, parents out there that are just, I need 30 minutes one-on-one with one of these wise men. Flick Money, we'll start with you. How do they reach you? How's it going so far?
Thank you, Coach. It is, holiday time. Obviously, everyone's busy, so I haven't met with anyone since we last spoke. But you can reach me, just my name, which is Sean Sean Flicky Flikke at gmail.com. And I'm doing 15-minute, 30-minute, or 60-minute individual or group sessions, running the whole gamut, anything from the internal landscape, the mental game of baseball, working with young people, working with difficult personalities, that could be adults or students, or kids. And then, of course, anything, baseball related. My area of specialty has always been hitting, but I do love to teach the game at any level. So here for it. And yeah, keep it rolling.
And you got multiple options. You got Coach Chopper as well, opening up some time. Chopper, how do they reach you in 2025?
Baseball at chadchop.com, baseball at chadchop.com. And anything baseball related, anything culture related, just trying to, get whether it's your coworkers or your kids in a positive mindset, get them back in the moment. And yeah, that's the focus going into 2025. How much kindness and love and generosity can we spread? Let's go, bang.
How are they going to be able to reach you in that office right there? Is that where you're going to be for these
Right
sessions?
here, right
And
here
if you're
in
if
my
you're not
office.
watching on the YouTube, tap in and Chopper, go ahead and introduce us to the revive. I mean, this is next level stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and I buried the lead because what's
Literally, you
out of
buried it below
frame,
the frame.
is Titus Chop's school picture this year. And you want to talk about a Viking ninja. He's won none of these awards. These are Bo's. Those are Bo's rings. Those are Bo's medal. And he stole these. He literally pillaged these like a true Viking. And Titus didn't tell us he was going to do this.
No.
And he went ahead and did this. And when we got the proof, we bought the entire package. We had to. And this is a canvas, and this is in the office. So Titus Chop, bang.
Boy, I mean, with the money you spent on the full package, that school's gonna build a whole brand new baseball facility.
Living the dream. Yeah. So this is cool too. What else is in this office? I got this last night as a gift. I'm a big shoe guy. So huge shoe guy, very big Jordan guy. And one of my parents, Amy Bartell, Jordan, bang, North Carolina, she paints shoes. So they got me some Jordans, and they
Come on.
customed it with the Pups logo. It's got my initials on there. That's one shoe. The other shoe, if the shoe fits, wear it. Same
Right.
design, but it also says Pups on there. I don't know if you can see that real good. But I mean, come on.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all you can say at this point.
Wow.
And so we're cooking with gas. And I want to say one other thing. Sometimes the good Lord throws just cool stuff at you. Drop the box. That'll happen. We'll edit that out in post.
Didn't even hear it.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a baseball that my dad gave me this box of, and we all have these, right? Where your dad's like, hey, I saved all your stuff from high school.
Right.
So this was the second shutout of the year. I punched 12 Servite Friars. Servite, sorry about it. Solid. I mean, that team included Ryan Garco, bang, longtime major league veteran, and who went to Stanford, I believe.
Stanford grad. Yeah.
Count it. So Boaz this morning goes, hey, Dad, you know that ball that's in the the guest bathroom that Mom put up? That happened on my birthday. Boaz's birthday, April 25th. So it's just fun when the good Lord says, like, oh, here you go. Here's something to get ready to go into 2025. So that happened on April 25th, 1997. Boaz was born April 25th, 2014, World Series, baby. Bang. So pretty cool.
425. Wow. Well, Flick Money, anything to catch up the listener on your world, or maybe what your recap is of 2024, my brother? What do you got?
Well, I mean, so I'm a little bit behind you two as far as the age of my children. So we just had a huge, okay, first of all, that's not Titus Chop. That's Colton. His name is Colton Chop, but Titus Chop is the nickname he chose for himself at a Sandlot because it sounds like a Viking Kung Fu star. But his real name is Colton Tanner Chop. But Christmas here, here's the energy I'm riding into 2025 on. Okay, for the first time, my son's 4, my daughter's 2. We did letters to Santa. Both of them got to part. My daughter's now verbal enough. We could talk about what she wanted to do. I know you both know this, and all the dads out here know this, but this was my first time that I've got to set up and watch my children have their minds absolutely blown that Santa was able to procure and set up a Christmas morning that was like right out of their dreams, and watching their eyes, the explosion of joy. That's the vibe I'm riding in on. When people say this true spirit of Christmas is giving, I never believed them. I always thought that was a hard sell, but now I finally at an advanced age, I finally I'm on board. The joy of Christmas is giving, and that's what I'm heading into 2025 with.
I love it. It reminds me of one of my favorite maybe my favorite moment at any Sandlot or camp is right after the kid hits the ball and runs to first base. There is this Christmas morning joy on their face. And yes, they're looking at the ball and maybe they shouldn't be, but the prioritized joy ball game within me says, I don't care. I love to see that kid's face light up. They're completely present. They're in the moment. They're opening up a present on Christmas morning with that. And sometimes it's shot down with a diving catch and it's a quick turnaround. but still, that's my favorite moment. Chopper, any highlights from your Christmas with the big fam?
I gotta say, this year was great. That's wonderful. It was awesome. But what you just made me think of, Flick Money, was let's go back in the time machine, way back to 2012. This is Michael's 5. Noah is 3. For any of our kids here, I need you to pause or turn off or go away or plug your ears or hit them with a la 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 la. For the
Earmuffs.
adults, earmuffs. For the
Earmuffs.
parents that are listening, my wife and I decided that we would get a Thomas the Train like train table. A lot of Thomas the Train was being watched. A lot of British terms like I'm cross at you, which means I'm angry. Thomas the Train. So we stayed up most of the night working on this train set, this table. And when I say I am not good at putting stuff together, it is an understatement. And Debbie's way better than I am, but even this gave her a challenge. She looked a lot more like me and a lot less like her putting this table together. But we got through it. We got to bed around 4 a.m. and we could not wait for the kids to wake up. Fast forward 6 a.m. The kids wake up. Me and Debbie are pumped. Oh my gosh, they're gonna love this thing. We get out there in the living room, and kids look perplexed. I would say they even looked cross. And they go, yeah, Santa must have got mixed up. We didn't ask for this. We don't want this. They hated it. And so it's a contrast to what you experienced this year. I love that you experienced it. I would just recommend that just make sure this year went smooth, but next year you're going to be at that 5 and 3-year-old age. Do your homework, do your research, and make sure that whatever you put your blood, sweat, and tears into, they want it. Because that hurt for, it's 2024, 12 years. That hurt a little bit. And we gave that to my dad, and the cousins liked it, but my kids to this day don't like it and didn't appreciate it. And so, for that.
Chopper, I blame the British. That was the metric system that kept you up all night, and frankly, also probably that energy spilled somehow into the kids receiving it in a negative way. Man, I just want to give you a big dad hug right now. That still hurts. That hurt me just listening to it.
Oh my goodness.
So funny.
Gracious. I love that. No, Santa got mixed up. We hate this. We hate this. Oh boy. Well, me and Tara Jean put a trampoline together. This would be 2018, about the same time, midnight to 4 a.m. And this was not a Santa gift. This was from us. So we built it in the backyard, and there was exuberance for about 3 weeks. And then that 3-week mark hit, and that trampoline wasn't getting used whatsoever. Then had a big wind blow through Orange County, blew the thing over, broke it, and that was that. So what have we done here in 2024? We've gotten another one, and it's sitting in boxes. I'd say 12 to 44 boxes on the side of the house. And this year we're waiting for somebody else to put it together. So what we did this Christmas morning, instead of building the whole thing all night long, we put one little box in the backyard, and I put a sticky note on it that said trampoline. And they went out and they unleashed. They took the sheet off, and it says trampoline, and they went wild, just as wild as they would if they saw the real thing. But it will probably be sitting on the side of the house in boxes for about 3 or 4 months. Anyhow, Merry Christmas.
I love that there's a range of boxes on the side. It could be anywhere from 12 to 44.
Yeah.
We're actually not even sure how many boxes showed up. I love it.
Just put it over there. Hey, we always get to your questions, guys. Thank you again for emailing me or sending DMs with your questions. These give us great topics to discuss each week. We'll hit 3 to 5 today, but I want to end our housekeeping with the Coach Ballgame book. I've been writing this thing for 5 years, and we did a photo shoot. We now have a cover, which I'll unveil quite soon. But Chopper, you and Flick Money, and this podcast is all over that thing. It is 75% Coach's Handbook, 25% memoir, and stories of people that I've met and lessons I've learned. And I was just reading the first couple chapters this morning. Flicky's all over chapter 1, Chopper chapter 2. So I want to thank you guys for the lessons you've taught me, and providing, I think, a lot of great help for listeners and followers and coaches out there. It's for the mom, the dad trying to navigate the youth sports. How do I coach youth sports? How do I parent through it? What should my priorities be? And then there's some stories of how I almost died in college, and mistakes I've made, and what I've learned from that. And a lot of name drops, meeting Joe Madden and Albert Pujols and Ozzie Smith and Ken Griffey Jr. What a life, man. What a life. But glad to see we finally got to the end. Getting some friends of the pod to endorse it with a line, where you got some endorsement lines there, and then we ship it over to Indonesia. They're gonna manufacture it there, 2,500 copies. They'll ship it back here to our garage, and first 100 pre-orders will get a signed copy from yours truly. So excited! I'll let everybody know when the pre-order link is up. We're just waiting on a firm date of when they'll be built. So happy stuff. That's the book. Boys, before we get to our questions, anything I'm missing here? Anything need to be hit?
Yeah, I just finished 4 days of camp. We had a fundraiser that we partner with USA Baseball Academy, and it was awesome. I had multiple campers. I've never had this before. That by the end of camp, they were like, "Hey, man, we basically came to this camp because we've played against you and seen how you coach, and we wanted an opportunity to potentially try out for your team." And so, I mean, what an honor. And so, great conversations during the camp. Got another text from a parent that was like, "Hey, I really want my kid to be a part of what you guys are doing because of your knowledgeable and positive coaching." And so, just a lot of just awesome, uh, I don't know, reinforcement of what we're doing and kind of what our mission is. Shared the podcast with those families. They're jumping on it. And camp was awesome. My high school boys did great. You got to give them the old, hey, no phones, smile. The more fun you have, the more fun the campers have. Engage, ask questions, get to know the kids. And they knocked it out of the park. They did a great job. And we raised a lot of money for the school. And we're looking forward to doing it again. So big thank you to USA Baseball Academy. Joe Marker heads that up. And yeah, it was a tremendous success. And you know how these things go. They just get better every year. We had 43 kids, and that's just going to continue to grow as an opportunity to help our baseball program. So super thankful. It was awesome.
Well done. Me and Flicky, we've been doing this together since 2005, and I can tell you the assistant coaches that have come through the program and been players first and now become coaches, that's the culture that you set. Yeah, and you really see it. The fruits of your labor come through when you're seeing that. Flick Money, you can speak to that, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you build it, they will come. And happy to see you bearing fruit there, Chopper. And up here in the Pacific Northwest, um, Coach Ball Game, one of the big happenings in 2024, your barnstorming tour of Washington State has borne fruit in West Seattle. Shout out to Coach Transplant, Coach Email, and the crew. We are establishing Bigfoot baseball camp to start the summer of 2025. 4 fields, beautiful West Seattle, which is literally the end of the earth. It's Puget Sound on the other side. Orca, swimming, sun setting, long days. Can't wait for it. We're going to knock out 3 weeks this summer. And just for all music fans out there, we're big music fans on this pod. Eddie Vedder, several members of Pearl Jam live on West Seattle, but Eddie Vedder definitely does. And I have already put out, I'm laying the groundwork. If anyone has a connection to make it happen, that either Eddie Vedder comes out and sings the national anthem on World Series Friday, or we can get Mike McCready to do the Jimi Hendrix style guitar riff somehow, some way I'm calling it in. If anyone can make it happen, it's the magical people involved in this world. So that's happening, Coach.
Well, friend of the pod, Joe Buck, is a good friend of Eddie Vedder's. They actually went to Vegas and watched U2 at the Sphere with Clooney, Pitt, Gaga, among others. He showed me a picture of it. So Vedder had a whatever you call it, had a booth or something there to watch and invited Joe. So of course I'll hit Joe Buck up and maybe we can get Vetter and McCready to both come and during story time maybe drop a little daughter. You know, come on,
Oh,
just let it rip.
it doesn't get Eddie better than this.
Dang. I mean, pun of the year, buzzer beater.
Talk about a
Let's go.
segue. Talk about a segue into our questions from the listener. I love your content. Can you advise for my son who is 11 years old playing up 12U? He loves baseball, but he cried on the mound in the past tournament when he gave up one run. The coach sat him the whole tournament because of it. Eh. What is your advice to control his fear of failure and how to control his emotions? Well, this is at least two-pronged. This has to do with um, the kids' emotions, and also this coach, the way they dealt with it. Um, we've talked a lot about this topic. This has come up a lot this year about emotions and that 10, 11, 12. And Flick Money, you're doing private Zoom sessions with kids of high react, different personality. So we'll start with you on this one. What hits you about this 11-year-old playing up to 12U?
First of all, what hits me is a big memory. I also used to have meltdowns on the mound. Now, in my case, I had a lot going on in my life. I was battling at home. And so when I would come, baseball was my outlet. So when it wasn't going well, the stakes were so much higher. It just felt like this was the counterbalance in my life. This is where I found joy and sense of belonging in when it didn't go well, it just felt so much heavier and it's like a dam broke. So I'm just feeling for the kid. I don't know, we don't know, we don't have context. I don't want to make any assumptions about what this means. Is he just a perfectionist? Does he have other things that he's actually battling that we don't know about? Kids get bullied at school. This is the big time when wanting to fit in socially is important. Or is it just that he just has super high expectations for himself, and when he doesn't meet it, it's like he's right now the feelings are bigger than his coping strategies. So I don't have the information to know that. But what I can say is, as a coach, my instinct would be to go to the mound, take a mound visit, and just let's teach. Let's. This is a teachable moment. Let's talk them through it. Let's start working with the breathing, and let's remind them that giving up one run is not going to be the reason we lose this game, because we had to score a run to win the game anyway, right? So we were going to have to score to win. So if it's 1-0 or if it's 2-1, we were going to need to score to win anyway. So and let's breathe some of these big feelings out. So I think that was maybe a missed opportunity. Um, but what it tells me maybe is that the coach isn't super comfortable with big feelings, which is true for a lot of men. We were not raised to be comfortable with that. And so there might be an opportunity for some conversation and some learning with the coach there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I wasn't comfortable with big feelings and emotions, especially when it seemed like it was anti what I'm teaching as a young coach, and I reacted in anger and consequence. Well, you're going to sit down. You're going to go run laps. This is not how we roll. And I've learned along the way that there's a different path. There's a different way to look at it, and that way of looking at it is not soft. It's not um, it's not participation trophy, blah blah. No, it's just more productive. And Chopper, I want to hear from you on this because I know you can be firm, just as firm as me. But what's your reaction to this topic?
Yeah, without knowing context, like Flick said, if I was the coach in this situation, I'd call timeout, I'd give him a big hug. and just kind of try to promote that spirit of resiliency. I just can't wait to see how you respond, and to Flick's point, we got to score to win. So you've given up a run. We talk a lot about as a team mitigating the crooked number. So it's like one run bet, like that's, especially in club baseball, that's actually a pretty good inning to only allow one run because we're going to score three. And we have a firm, if they get one, we get three policy in our dugout. If they get two, we get six. It's just math. And so that would be what I would recommend, but we don't have the context. I fully don't support that sitting in for the rest of the tournament. I think the harshest you could go, if you felt like as a coach, you've already had enough conversations, maybe, and like I said, maybe, don't know the context. It could be like, hey, I'm going to take you out. We've talked about this a lot. I'm going to have you sit for a little bit, let you kind of recharge your battery, and then let's get you out there next game to be ready to roll. But we're going to, and I'm going to sit next to you on the bench. You're not in trouble, but we've talked about this. This is something that we're working towards. So I'm going to give you some time to kind of compose yourself and then get back out there. But just to do it, it sounds like mom and dad didn't get a reason for it too. Makes it tough. You got to communicate as coaches. And I know it's hard for some coaches, and some coaches like, I don't get paid enough to do this stuff, but it's like, especially if you're a parent, like I'm a parent. So anytime I make a decision, or even with a roster, even with a high school, I call mom and dad and I tell them what I'm thinking and why I'm doing it. You're going to have the conversation either way. You might as well be proactive and say, hey, I could see how this could be perceived a certain way. Let me tell you what I'm thinking. I had this situation with a high school parent where one of my athletes, really good athlete, hurt his knee and he got cleared to play, but it was still bugging him a little bit. We had another tournament in a couple weeks. So I decided to leave him off a roster. And I knew right away that could be a red flag for mom and dad. So I called dad and said, hey, this is why I'm doing this. I know your son's going to run through a wall for us. And I want to protect him to get him fully healthy for the tournament that's coming up in about 3 weeks. And so listen to those instincts as a coach, have a conversation. You're going to have it either way. You're just, the first way you can get out in front of it. The second way, there's going to be a lot of more animosity, frustration, because as parents, as humans, we always think the worst. And so have a conversation is what I would say.
Yeah. I know as a coach that started out win at all costs, these kind of things just seemed, I wanted to other that kid and put them into a bucket of, well, oh, that's not going to help us win. And it seems like there could have been some more digging personally into the love language and how does this kid respond to failure. I know that these emotional high react kids, uh, I have friends that are adults that would tell me they used to be that kid and they have turned out to be incredibly successful. And that quality is nowhere to be seen anymore. I guarantee you that kid, when he's 25, won't have that same react, but there's a opportunity for the coach to probably do way more than the parents could do in this moment, which is give a tool of how to overcome failure. I always say it. It's the most important thing we need to teach as coaches is how to overcome failure and adversity. Money?
Yeah, you're on the right track. What I'm thinking of, what's our role as a coach at this stage? Yeah, teach the game. Yeah, we want to win games. Um, and this is an opportunity right here. I can help bring this young ball player to the next level of their emotional maturity. Now, this coach is, uh, he might be using the best tool that he has in his bag, which is if I take something away from him, then he's going to learn the thing. Right. And I understand that. I mean, we've all tried that as parents and varying degrees of success. But in this particular instance, um, uh, the unspoken message to the player is who you are. The totality of who you are is not okay. Some of you needs to get left over here. And if you don't learn how to do that yourself, I'm going to isolate you until you learn how to do that yourself. And to me, this is not the age to do that. This is not this is the time, the opportunity to go out to the mound, have the conversation, to figure out you need what's called an attention out. We need the attention out of this place where where the feelings are like, oh no, I've let everyone down, including myself. So we got tension out of that. That's step one. Step two, the refocus, right? I love Chopper. I'm so excited to see how you respond, because what are we really teaching here? We're really teaching resilience. And so for me as a coach, this is an opportunity to shepherd that message rather than push them away and say, you go learn the message on your own, and we're going to be over here doing something else. I think that's damaging at that 10, 11 stage. The brain's not even halfway fully cooked as a 10 or 11-year-old.
And think about the impact on the other 12 kids on the team. If you approach this situation with a big hug and arms wide open and empathy, unconditional love, body language, all the kids are going to go, okay, so that's how you approach someone who's in a tight spot, who's struggling. Whereas what sounds like what happened was arms crossed, go sit over there for the rest of the weekend. That's an impact on the kids as well. Then they go, okay, so if somebody's not on the same playing field as us emotionally, that's how you should react. And it creates a lot of tension with parents in the bleachers when those kind of things happen. So, man, again, no context and throwing zero shade on this coach, as I've made that mistake many a time. But that's why I love this podcast, is we can talk about this. We can tell our failures and jump in there. So for the dad, just hang in there. I feel like the shy ones and the overreactors, you got to take it one bite at a time. As Nick Hundley said, eat that elephant one bite at a time. And if you can find someone else, maybe not this head coach, but an assistant coach, or a different dad on the team, a different parent on the team that you can pass this off to, and say, hey man, I can't seem to get through to my man. I love that. I love that he cares, but can you chat with him about the overreaction? That could be really powerful. Anything to button up this one, boys? Question number 2. My husband's coaching 8U flag football. I love this. This is not just baseball. We're all sports. My son is a young 7-year-old in first grade, 10th percentile in height. He's not very tall, not very athletic, but has been loving the game until tonight. We made it to the city finals. He got maybe 1 minute of playing time, and he did not understand why he wasn't played. And now he resents his dad, who made this decision as the coach. We have another game tomorrow. It could be our last. If we win, we'll play in the finals right afterwards. He's been loving it this year, but this really got him. So, thoughts? Is it best to let them gauge a chance to play and risk losing, or sit them on the sidelines? What's the best play here? So, sounds like we've gotten into tournament play, gotten into when it really matters, so to speak, and Dad decided to go for the win over love of play. And this can be an opposite. Usually, you might throw your boy, your son, your daughter in and sit somebody else. This coach decided to sit his own son and go for the win that direction. So, Chopper, I'll start with you on this one. What are your reactions?
I don't think it's that hard to navigate if you do it the right way. Now, Dad didn't do it right, and it's okay. You can get it right next time. But you just have the conversation going in, and you talk to your son. But hey, son, here's the deal, dude. Like, my loyalties to you. I'd lay down my life for you, right? But I'm coaching a team, and this is tournament play, and we're gonna do what's good for the team for this weekend, okay? And so, if the game allows itself, I'll get you in there as much as I can, but your playing time is going to be a little bit limited this weekend. Okay. It doesn't mean I don't love you. This is the decision that I've made. and it's for the good of the team. And that's why I'm doing it. I love you. I need you right next to me. I'm going to be asking you some questions on strategy. I need you to be like kind of like my head assistant coach right here. You're smarter than I am. You got it all from your mom. And I'm going to lean heavily on you for this weekend. And I need you right next to me. If you got input, give it to me. And let's go win this thing together. You're going to be like a player coach. And I'm going to get you on there when I can. But just know that coming into this, it's not going to be like all the other games. And I just want to make you aware of that. But I love you, dude. And I can't wait to win this thing together with you as my head assistant coach. Are you cool with that? And now little Jimmy knows what's up. And he not only is he know what, he's in on it. And he's like, all right, bet. And he shows up with the Vince Lombardi hat, and a bubblegum cigar. And he's out there finding a way to get the dub for his dad and his teammates. That's how I would handle it. And I've had this situation with my oldest, Michael, where he knew where he stood on the team. He knew he batted eighth or ninth, and he knew there was times when it was like, hey, dude, like when we get to a certain point in this tournament, I'm going to play the best nine, and you're going to get every opportunity. But if you're not in that top nine, you kind of know what it looks like. And so you just got to have those conversations. That would be my advice.
I love it. I mean, and it's where your heart is. Yes, you're showing this team, okay, it's tournament play. We can try and put our best foot forward to win these games, but not at the cost of anybody's career, right? And this son, this 8-year-old, or this small 7-year-old, they could have a Daniel Nava moment if they love the game enough down the road where they grow 14 inches and they're the best player. But I love how you're able to hit that balance. There can be a balance where, yeah, let's go win a game, but it takes communication, and that was all communication. I love that answer. Flick money.
It just, Chopper, you reminded me of a story that name drop salute. Mike Aldretti, great left-handed hitting first baseman, pinch hitter. I made a career out of being a great pinch hitter. Won a World Series with the Yankees. Um, he backed up McGuire with the A's. He backed up Will Clark with the Giants, and he backed up Andres Galarraga with the Expos. And you talk about, just being in a situation where you need to find your way through with getting the chances and seizing those opportunities. He said the best manager he ever had was Tony La Russa, because La Russa, even though everyone knew McGuire was going to play 98% of the time, La Russa would come to him 3 weeks before they were going to take a road trip to Atlanta. And La Russa would say to him, or at the time, I guess it would probably be, let's say, an American League team. So it would probably be Boston. And he'd say, hey, I've always really loved your swings against John Dobson. You've had great, I was looking at some of it. You've had great results. So we're going to give Mac a day off, and I want you to be ready to hit. You're gonna be our guy on that day. And it was that building him up, telling him what he did well, finding a place for him to succeed and to feel that, to know that he had a place. And he said, I would run through a wall. I'd be so far. By the time that game came, I was so prepared. I'd go out and light him up, and then that validated my position on the team, and then I got more opportunities to pinch hit. And he said, but some of the other managers I played with, he said, when he played in Montreal, Galarraga would only take a day off if he was facing like one of the three top pitchers in the league, right? If they were facing Randy Johnson, Galarraga with Arizona, Galarraga would be like, I'm out. I'm gonna take a day off. And so Buck Rogers would go, hey, he didn't even know his name. He'd be like, hey, Aldretti said he would just show up and his name would be on the lineup, left on left against Randy Johnson. So that Galarraga didn't have to take the 0 for 4. He'd take the 0 for 4, and then it would validate to Buck Rogers why he never should have been playing in the first place, and he wouldn't talk to him for 2 months. So this is you just reminded me of that story, Chopper. Finding ways for people to be successful, communicating it to them ahead of time. And there's a role for, especially at 7 and 8, there's a role for this kid on this team. It's not just as there's some way that he can contribute. So find the 2 or 3 strengths that he has, and let's find ways for him to help you win games. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, go ahead, Chopper.
You mentioned La Russa, and got to work with Sean Dunston. He said the exact same thing. And I just looked up Sean Dunston's stats, and he's a career 269 hitter. And he hit 307 the year he played for the Cardinals as a backup. And it was exactly what you said. He'd come to him 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time and say, hey, Shaywan, we're going to get you in here. This is why we're going to do it. You've had a ton of success. He always found a way to put his guys in a position to succeed, and he communicated it. He communicated it well, and they never got blindsided by a decision that he had to make. Shout out to LaRussa and also Sean Dunston.
Yeah.
And I mean, Sean did it at the major league level, but we had the same career batting average, which is pretty sick. And the same birthday, March 20th.
Come on, Pop. So, great episode, by the way. Go back and listen to the Sean Dunston in my book. What did I learn from Sean Dunston? When he lost, his hitting coach would say, "We lost today." Right. When Sean had a 5 for 5 day, his hitting coach would say, "You had a great day." Right. So he took the losses with him. What I'm hearing from you two amazing coaches and Hall of Famer LaRussa is it's both and it's both. And we are going to go win a game, and Mac's our best first baseman, but not at the cost of Michael's love of the game. And there's a lesson to be learned here. There's a podcast 20 years down the road where two coaches who have met this guy are going to talk about this life lesson to other coaches if I approach it this way. So the ripple effect of LaRussa is real. And man, that's great. I did not know that about Tony LaRussa, but he's seeing the grand scope of things. And some coaches might think, well, that's too much work for a youth baseball team for me. I say no to that. It's going to be more of a life giver for you if you come from that place of how much love can I instill? Smalls, Benny the Jet, how many life lessons can I teach him? It's great.
You don't have to do it that way, but if we're talking tournament baseball, if you're saying we're engaging these tournaments and winning is a priority, then what's the best way to do that? Well, you're going to optimize every player's talents. That's one. And two, you want the whole vibe in your dugout to be good. You want the culture to be excited to come to the park. And so the kids that aren't hitting third and playing shortstop, we need to make sure that their energy is still going in the same direction. So if you don't communicate to them in that way, and you don't find ways for them to be successful, they start to recede, they start to pull back, the energy starts to get turned towards first self-doubt and then resentment to try to save the psyche. I'm going to start blaming the coach, and now my parents are in the stands doing the same thing. So it's really an energy thing. Phil Jackson did the same thing in basketball with the Bulls and the Lakers. He'd find these role players, these guys that were, now are famous because they were on these great teams, but they would play 8 minutes. Judd Bushler with the Bulls, but man, 4 minutes at the end of the first half, 4 minutes in the beginning of the fourth quarter, so that he could give give Scotty a rest, but also he'd knock down 2 big threes, right? His defensive energy would change the game a little bit. And so just finding ways to be successful and getting and making role players excited and plugged in with the roles that they have.
Yeah, just praising all the little things just as much as the home runs and the shutouts, right? The small that play, that backup, that hustle that you did to back up that play, that won us the game. Yes, Benny the Jet had 2 home runs, and he gets the game ball today. But I can tell you, we lose this game if it wasn't for Smalls hustling over, making that backup play right there. So the grand scope, I love it.
John Wooden, great quote by John Wooden is, a player that makes a team great is better than a great player. So as a coach, that doesn't just happen independent of you communicating and getting them to buy into their role and understanding that, hey, no matter what happens today on this field, we are going to win this thing or lose this thing together. And we need every one of us buying into not the role they want, but the role the team needs of them. And that is truly how you build a culture. It's through communication. It's through having sometimes hard conversations, but getting everyone to buy into, you know what? I wanted to play shortstop today and bat third, but that's not what the team needs of me right now. It needs me to be that 10th man off the bench, ready to go, and just expecting that coach told me it's probably going to be around the 4th inning. And I need to be ready to go when he's going to call my name and they're going to go from the lefty to the righty. And I've got to be ready. And I'm excited and I can't wait. And I can't wait to help my team win a ball game with the role that I've been fortunate enough to be given, looking through the lens of gratitude.
A player that makes a team great is better than a great player. Man,
John
that's good
Wooden,
stuff. John
bang.
Wooden, man, he
Coach of
knew
the
some
year,
things.
buzzer beater, basketball.
Uh, we'll close out shop with this one, and this one's timely as we approach a new season. Best tips to loosen, break in a glove. I've got a 12-year-old daughter. That comes from a listener. Thank you for this, and I for me. I just beat on that thing as much as I can with a small hammer, sledgehammer, and my father, Papa Ball Game, uses Neat's Foot oil. Neat's Foot oil with a K. Look that up. Rub it in the pocket in the movable parts, and you're just working with that thing while you're watching movies. And at any time, work that thing in, punch it. But most gloves will take a full year, so I would have a backup. I would have a maybe a used glove that you can use in the first couple weeks of the season while you're breaking this other one in. But it's probably smarter to get a brand new glove at the end of a season so you have the whole rest of the year to work it in. Flick Money, what do you got?
Other tips and tricks. I mean, obviously, just to get the finger shape the way you want it. You can belt that thing up at night with a couple balls in the catch pocket. And some people like fingers more bent down. Some people want a thumb and pinky closer together. That's going to be personal preference. But when you get a shape you like, then you can either put softballs or a couple baseballs in place, belt that thing up, get it under your mattress or under a mattress at night. You can speed up the process by which that leather starts to be able to take the shape consistently that you want. And But when we talk about glove shaping and when we talk about softening of tough surfaces, we got to bring up a guy named Chad Chop.
Dang. I did this a lot for some of the boys. This is something I would do a lot. I'm not going to hit it too hard, but that is a gold glove, and that does say "bang" right there, and
Come on.
also has chop on the front. And you can't just get a gold glove. Cody Bellinger, who's a gold glove winner, made this for me, and it was because I would always break in the boys' gloves, and Brandon Belt's glove, Belly's glove, Jock Peterson when he was dabbling with some first base, and I love doing it. I would work a lot with one of these. I would oil it up with some leather, They have it in the clubhouse, but like leather oil, for lack of a better term. You can find this stuff, glove oil, conditioner, and then I had access to it, but I would catch a million like just super high velocity pitches with it. And then I would store it, like Flick said, I would store it with either two baseballs, because the key is you got to create the pocket, and then you have to keep the pocket. So either two baseballs, a softball works really great. And this actually came in a kit to break in a glove. So it came with this guy, which is great. And it came with this oversized rubber band that I think is designed for literally gloves, right? And so what I tell my high school boys is two baseballs or a softball, and you got to keep it stored the right way. It's got to be stored with that good pocket. I like to keep everything dialed here with the thumb and the pinky, but you want to keep that thing stored the right way, because you could work really hard getting it broken in, and then you just toss it and it just loses its shape and loses its form. You got to take care of your equipment, right? Like these things are going to make plays for you. You got to take care of your glove and your bat and shine your shoes. Get your shine box, as Joe Pesci said in Goodfellas, I believe, if I'm getting that right.
Cody Bellinger gave you that glove. Bang. How cool is that? I mean, how about servant leadership salute for you? That drag the drag behind you, and then a kindness, an observance salute for Cody Bellinger.
Cody,
Um,
it blew me away, ball game, because that's not why. It's not why you do stuff. I didn't do stuff and like, oh, he's gonna give me a glove someday. I did it because I loved it. I love the guys, and so yeah, it blew me away. I freaking love Cody Bellinger. I mean, I'm talking like he went through it a little bit in LA. And you want to talk about making it awkward, like to bring it back full circle, when you and I were whisker to whisker, I had a conversation with Cody when he was just scuffling, and I gave him a big hug, and he's a man of faith. And I said, you know what, dude, God, like, first of all, he's with you. And I got really emotional, way more than he did when I was saying it. But he let me hug him, which was generous on his end. And just told him, like, hey, man, like, all I know is in my life, anytime there's been hardship, that precedes blessing. And so I told him he's got more talent in his pinky than everyone on the field combined, and that I believed in him, that I loved him, and just to keep going and keep trusting in the process and trusting in his ability that the good Lord's given him. And wiped my tears on his jersey. I think he took it off. And I freaking love that guy. He's just a good human, man. And the thing that people don't realize about big leaguers is they're human like all of us. And when it doesn't go right for a sustained period of time, they can lose that confidence, man. It's a real thing. And you saw it with him going to Chicago, and kind of something changed where he got back to just being who he is, man. And but I love Bopper. I think he's doing really well in New York. His dad won some rings there. So there's some history. Yeah, there's some history with that. But yeah, thank you, Cody. Happy New Year, buddy.
How about that? Let's get that new Yankee on this pod. I want to
Lives in
ask him about
Chandler.
that moment.
Lives in
Amazing.
Chandler. Yeah, about an
How
hour down the
about it?
road. Same as Sean Dunston, Chandler.
Amazing. Guys, happy New Year. I hope you bring it in with a bang. And all you listeners out there, amazing stuff. I'll let Flick Money and Chopper close out shop here on today's episode. Flick Money, what do you got?
I just want to. This is just a little premonition here. 2025, the all-time leader in high school hitting home runs in the country of Japan is not Shohei Ohtani. Oh no, a young man by the name of Rintaro Sasaki went to his high school, just graduated this last year, but instead of signing as the number one pick in the Japanese Major League Draft, he has opted to come play college baseball, Division I college baseball, because the agreement that the two leagues have, he would have to wait 9 years and before he would be eligible for Major League service here if he signed with a team in Japan. So where where do you ask? Is he going to play? Rintaro Sasaki is hitting in the middle of the order for my beloved Stanford Cardinal, and this dude drops bombs. He is thick. He is a big boy, and he drops absolute bombs. He played in the Major League Showcase League this summer with bat, and his second pitch he saw, he hit somewhere in between Trenton and Baltimore. The ball has not yet landed, and so this dude is something special. So just wanted to shout that out. Looking forward to that, and it feels like a gift coming the way of me and all my former teammates.
Can't wait. I love that. I love it. Chad Chop, what do you got?
I love how baseball does that, man. You get a guy like Shohei, and all of a sudden, like, instead of our mind limiting us and saying, oh, things can't be done, like, Shohei shows up on the map, and all of a sudden there's going to be someone better than Shohei, and there's going to be someone better than the guy that's better than Shohei. And it's a reminder to all of us that our mind's powerful, dude. It can limit you, or it can make you limitless. And so that's the challenge for me, for everyone this year. Start looking and seeing what you want to see, and you'll see it. And so have a great New Year, boys. Be safe, and let's go. 2025. Can't wait.
You both make me better. I love you guys.
Love you, man.
Love you, boys.
A
Love you,
player that makes
boys.
a team great is better than a great player. Thank you, John Wooden. Thank you, Tony La Russa. And we'll see you in 2025.